What's up, scholars? Welcome to week 10, a big week for us. We're going to be discussing Indian removal and the complications that come from that, as well as sort of peering into more of the Great Indian Wars. So I want you to read chapter 8 of Carnes, Jacksonian Democracy. And also there's a little article by Steve Inskeep for those who are the learned that listen to NPR. You might recognize the name Steve Inskeep from one of their programs. He wrote an article called Donald Trump and the Legacy of Andrew Jackson, sort of a correlation between the two of them. It's very interesting. Not looking for your partisan politics, just wanted to kind of see the correlation between the two. It's sort of interesting article I found a couple years ago. Also, there's two shorter videos today, a little documentary about the Trail of Tears, and also the Trail of Tears told by Johnny Cash. Very interesting for those who don't know, rock, country singer from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Kind of a big deal. He does a little interpretation for you too. It's very interesting. So, forum discussion 10, and then midterm exam. I want to make some clarifications for you. So the Respondus lockdown browser is not something I wanted to do. I'm not a big fan of that. I think there's a lot of moral implications that I'm not prepared to deal with, and I don't think a lot of us are, but something that had to be done. We have a lot of issues with students that are taking answers and posting them online. That's not cool. That's not fair to the students that actually are working, so you can't do that. That being said, I always will reward people with ingenuity and people that are willing to be able to recall the information. That's fine. We live in an era where I certainly don't expect you, and I don't think anyone else will expect you to remember every single date. That's just silly. To remember when something exactly happened at all times. You don't need to ever recall all information at all times. We live in the information age where if you can't remember something, you can easily look it up and have it on your phone. So I challenge you to be able to, find answers to things, especially within the reading. But as far as like having a group, sharing answers, we can't have that. That's not good. So that being said, we'll have the midterm exam this week. Explain it to you again in simple terms. It's going to be several paragraphs. Just follow the directions. Well thought out ideas as far as the questions. You're going to be asked a few of the questions. You only have to answer a few of them, though. You don't have to answer everything. So you get to pick between the ones that I offer you. And then of those, just make sure you have, well thought out paragraph. Make sure that, you give it some thought, okay? So if you have any questions on that, feel free to consult me. However, I would prefer if you went and looked at the Start Here tab and read through the document again I have that explains all about final exams and the midterm exam. So you'll have by the end of the week to get that in. So I would definitely do the reading this week, get that in, and then come bounce back and then do the midterm exam. So you have about 60 minutes to do the midterm to answer 4 questions. So, if any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Otherwise, have a great week.